اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام.
On part one, we reviewed a few books. Today, inshallah, we have a lot to get through as well. Where are we going to start?
What do you want to start off with? We got like,
what's the lineup?
We got some ummahat and we got something.
Okay, for those who don't know what ummahat are, what is it? Ummahat.
Key and essential things. Something that's
like
the
foundational books, you can say.
Hey, like things that set the base, the set stone, what you build upon. So these are the things that you generally are told to read before you go into the deeper books. When someone goes through, he wants to study any field, he'll have to go through the ummahat before he can go into something else. So it's just basically one of those things that what are the foundational, most essential books that someone has to go through?
Okay, let's start with one of the most foundational books you can have, which is probably the first book that most of the mashayikh and ulama and teachers tell the students to memorize from a hadith point of view, and that is the 40 hadith of Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullahi ta'ala. And before you do begin, you do teach this book every Tuesday night for the past
Monday night.
Monday night, that's right.
Hey,
Monday nights before the Sydney lockdown here at Masjid Al-Azhar Belmore. And it's moved online, and you've covered how many hadith so far? 11 or 12?
We've finished 11 hadiths this week. Coming up week, we'll be going through the 12th hadith. So we're a quarter done, and I think we're on lesson 19 now, man.
Excellent. So whoever would like to catch up on that can on the Masjid Al-Azhar YouTube channel. An explanation of the 40 hadith is there. Okay, so firstly, the 40 hadith of Imam al-Nawawi. Imam al-Nawawi, rahimahullah, he compiled this book. What was his aim behind compiling these 40 hadith?
So basically, the aim behind the 40 hadith was to compile. So basically, look, there are ahadith that are weak, right? That says that whoever preserves 40 ahadith of mine of Rasulullah sallam, and they have certain rewards. Like for instance, he'll be resurrected with the ulama yawm al-qiyamah. There are a lot of ahadith on the 40. Whoever preserves 40 ahadith. But however, they are weak. And Imam al-Nawawi rahmatullah alayhi, he actually mentions this in the muqaddimah. He puts, I think, 3 ahadith in the beginning. And he mentions in the beginning of basically these are why these he goes. He says that to promote and to help and to push this, it's something that the ulama have taken on 40 ahadith on certain topics that have been done from scholars of the past. So his main aim was that he wanted to gather together 40 ahadith that pretty much was the essence of Islam, the foundational ahadith of Islam. And subhanallah, in the 40 hadith so far, like there are certain ahadith, as we know, look, every hadith is important. And we have to start it off with that every hadith is wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. And Rasulullah doesn't speak from his whims and desires, but rather it is revelation that is divinely decreed. For every hadith is important. However, there are some ahadith that cover more aspects and branches of this religion than others. And that's something that's by nature is going to happen, right? So, subhanallah, he has gone through the ahadith of Rasulullah, and you have to understand who Imam al-Nawawi was as well. My father, he says, just recently he was telling me that if you want to know about the real essence of a meaning of a hadith, then you go back to the commentaries of, and he listed, and Imam Nawawi rahmatullah alayhi was in that. So Imam Nawawi was a hadith scholar in his own right. And so when you think of how much this person knew about the hadith of Rasulullah, so when he says these are the 40 of the most important in our religion, and it's actually 42, but he says that if you think about these are the most important and he's giving it to you on a platter, you say, okay, now I got to really focus on these 42 hadith. It's something that it really, really is important, really, really is important for everyone, every Muslim, Allahu A'lam, to really go through these 40 because they're the crux of the religion. Imam Ahmad rahmatullah alayhi, he in certain times, there's different narrations, but one of the narrations says that there are 3 ahadith that revolve around the 3 ahadith that the entire religion revolves around, right? And then there's other scholars that say that, for instance, after when the hadith is mentioned, that this is half of Islam, this is a quarter of Islam, this is all of Islam. If you look at all of those texts, they're all in this hadith.
That's right, yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I've ever told you one of my favorite trick questions is how many hadith are in the 40 hadith?
That's a good one. No one gets it.
And you know how
no one gets it.
And the students start laughing.
Yeah,
and then,
what a dumb question.
What a dumb question. They say 40. I go, no. And then we tell them that Imam Nawawi actually compiled 42.
Actually going to do something at the end. I always say 42, but I haven't included the introduction, the hadith that's in the introduction as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to rip them at the end. How many hadith are there? When someone gets it right, it's going to be like, you guys think you guys studied for a whole year. It's going to be funny. It's going to be good. I think I gave it away though.
That's it. You did. So Imam Nawawi, rahimahullah, as you mentioned, the first few hadith in and of themselves, you know, if you look at the first 5 hadith, the first 3 or 4 hadith, you have the hadith of intention. And you have Sunnah, as some ulama call it, the hadith of Jibreel. Then you have the 5 pillars hadith. And then you have the hadith on bid'ah.
So many things. Huge. In the first 10, the essence of Islam almost is completely covered. In the first 10. The rest, subhanAllah, is just, it furthers the point. But each one has a very important thing. And subhanAllah, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's a book that's Mubarak. This is, right here, some of the books that are written about or on it. It's a book that has been accepted by the people, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put barakah in it. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this is one of the signs of His sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this from Him and to help us benefit from what's been written on this.
And subhanAllah al-Azim, last week we started off with one of the books we reviewed was another scholar from also Damascus, or from near Damascus, Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah. And this week, another scholar from Damascus as well, Imam Nawawi rahimahullah, he was from near Damascus as well, and I think he died there, didn't he?
Neither.
Rahimahullah. Okay, let's start with some commentaries in Arabic.
Can we start off with the text first?
The text, yes.
Okay, so in Arabic, in Arabic. So the text, the best, Allahu A'lam, the best print that deals with the text of 40 hadith of Imam al-Nawawi in Arabic is printed as part of a group of other mutun. Right?
Mutun meaning text, just the book without a commentary.
Mutun, a matan is just text without commentary. There is a book that's printed in Medina, Allahu A'lam, but it's printed by one of the Imams of the Haram, Abdul Muhsin bin Muhammad al-Qasim, right? So he is someone that Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Qasim is not normal. Most of the ijazas that the students in Medina have is through him. He has ijazas in nearly every book, subhanAllah. But what he does is that he goes through the most important texts and he prints and he goes through them and he does tahqiq. Tahqiq is basically making sure that the text itself is how the author has written it. Making sure that it's how he's presenting it, how he's writing, because they're all in manuscript form. So he goes through the manuscripts and he says, this is what the book is, right? And that's very, very important. And he says that over, through in this book here, it's been gone through over 120 manuscripts. And that's something that's massive. But the best text of most of the mutun is this one here called Mutun Talib al-Ilm. And it's from Abdul Muhsin Qasim, Imam of Masjid Nabawi. And this is something that we just got in the store, missions to get this book from Saudi. But this has a collection of a lot of mutun. Let me just quickly double check how many mutun there are. He hasn't listed them, but it's a lot. It's everything that's in the Mutun Talib al-Ilm series. I don't know if you've seen those pocket books.
No, I've seen them, yes.
And so it's part of that. And over here, so that's the best print in the Arabic for the text. And you can get, this has been separated in around 7 books, Allahu Alam, plus. You can get the individual ones. So basically, this one here is the first volume of the Mutun Talib al-Ilm. And over here is 4 texts in here, Nawaqid al-Islam, Qawaid al-Arba', Usul al-Thalatha, and al-Arba'in al-Nawawiyya.
Excellent.
So this is like essential texts that a student of knowledge will go through. And subhanAllah, in Medina, nearly every student you might walk past that has one of the volumes of this, like wherever he is, there's 6 levels so far. And it's one of those things that you always see someone in his hands going through one of these ones in the car, in the buses. They're always going through this. These are the best in the Arabic. Allahu alam.
Beats the phone any day.
100%. But you can actually get this as an app as well. But that's another story.
Yeah, no.
So that in the Arabic language
Excellent.
is the best for the texts themselves. Wallahu alam. In English, there's a few texts that you can find. Firstly, there's these two here by Johnny Davis. I'm pretty sure that's the translator's names. One's been printed in the UK by Taha Publishers. This is just the Arabic text, the English translation, and a short commentary, right? This one here is the same translation minus the introduction and certain.
That looks very similar to the ones that were giving out 20 years ago.
We gave this out as well. We gave this out today. When we were started the lessons.
Yes, when we gave the lessons.
But why I gave that one out is because we actually didn't have this one here.
Oh, this is the one.
This is the newest one
that you prefer.
That I now this. Okay, so let's just go through these ones. Why I don't really like this, I call this Shakespearean.
Oh, the English is
old-fashioned. The English is old school, too old school. For the way that it's presented, it's like thy Lord commands thee to prostrate.
Okay.
I can't do that. Not many people can. It's too much. This is one of the reasons why I don't recommend this one anymore. This one here, the introduction of this, it has nothing to do with the hadith.
Some funky stuff.
It goes through blind following and it's such a shame. It's such a shame. But this one here is printed in, and they're all called the complete 40 hadith or the 40 hadith. This one is An-Nawawi's 40 hadith, and it's published in Malaysia from Da'wah Corner.
It looks like all their books look similar.
It's so cool.
Da'wah Corner.
So what this has done, so this has the Arabic text, the translation, and short notes, not longer than a page.
Excellent.
Where did they take their notes from? It's bad boy. It's mashallah.
Yes, there we go. That's what I want to talk about.
This is the most complete commentary of 40 hadith in English.
Where'd the third volume go?
The third volume went in printing. They made it smaller, and that's what I've been told.
I bought
the actual place that it got printed by is gone out of business. AlBayan. AlBayan, your source of Islamic.
That's right.
Right? They used to print out the audio and all of the audio stuff. So that went down the drain. So this is a reprint from their texts. And so
who is the publisher now?
It still says AlBayan. It's because they just kept it exactly the same. They kept it they just changed the front cover a little bit.
I bought the first edition. It was in 3 volumes. That's what I still have.
I still have that as well.
That is excellent. Allah Mubarak.
Sheikh Abu Ayman, Hafidhahullah, he actually said, one of his students told me that he said, and he's taught this book, apparently cover to cover.
They used to read it.
Apparently they finished it apparently, and this was like a span of years. But one of his students told me that Sheikh Abu Ayman said that this book is the closest book that you're going to get to an Arabic book in English.
He's done an excellent job.
Zaragoza. Unbelievable. So that is the most complete commentary in English.
Does that take mainly from Ibn Rajab's commentary, which you're going to get to pretty much,
It takes from everything. It takes from everything. And it's really, really good. Because there's mabahith in the Daran in Jam' Ulum al-Hikam with Ibn Rajab. We'll get to that inshallah. This is very, very good. It talks about the Aqidah of Imam al-Nawawi. It talks about very, very interesting things. Of course, we don't agree with everything that's in there. No one's, everyone can have their opinions. But it's very, very good. It's as an English book, mashallah, it is very complete and very thorough.
And he is actually a writer in English. He's not just a translator.
Yeah, exactly. He's not he's an independent thinker as well. He's not someone that is just an anybody. You know what I mean?
No.
The next one is if someone. Okay, so this is overwhelming for some people. 2 volumes. It looks massive. It's probably that looks like 1,000 pages plus. You know what I mean?
It is in the 3 volumes.
3 volume
more
ones.
than that, yeah.
So that's overwhelming for some people. So if you can't be bothered to go through the main one, the 2-volume one, Sheikh Salih Al-Fawzan also did a commentary of it, which has been translated, and it's a good translation. It's not a bad translation. And so this one is a 1-volume translation, 1-volume copy, and I think it's around 370 pages plus.
As you said, it keeps the style of Sheikh Salih
Al-Fawzan style.
Yep,
simple,
succinct,
to the point, straight to the point.
That's his aim.
That's his main thing, that you get the meaning of the hadith and some benefits from it.
Now, before you move on to some of the Arabic ones, what happened to the ones that they translated and they summarize from Ibn al-Uthaymeen rahimahullah.
So you can find it somewhere,
It's
but
a very bad print. And
it's a very bad
pages
translation. It's a very bad translation as well.
Pages are falling apart. And
Exactly,
you know
because it was given out for free, wasn't it?
No, it was being sold at one time. But
Really?
it just wasn't the best print.
There are other. Look, subhanAllah, 40 hadith is one of those things that everyone has kind of commentated on. Like it's one of those things that's mubarak. There are this is just what I've seen today, right? But there was previous, and there's going to come things that are online as well. This is something that you can find. There's another one in 2 volumes that we have in the store as well, and that's very, very good also. It takes from some of the older texts as well. There's so many, but I think as a stepping point into it, these are the main ones that are going to be prevalent for a while, inshallah. Because Dar Makkah in the UK, they're massive. Like as a business, as a publishing house, they're huge in the UK. And then this one, because of the rap that it's got, right? Yeah. Because of everyone says, the best commentary is Zaraboza's commentary. So that's inshallah always going to be in print as well. Then these guys here, inshallah, will always be supporting them and will always be trying to pumping this up because the commentary is very, very good. And it's a authentic commentary where they don't try to put anything. It's very easy to read because it's been published very recently. It was published, I think in the last few years, subhanallah, 2020.
Perfect.
So the English is very easy to read. It's not Shakespearean. The commentary is very succinct. It's nice, straight to the point. And then these ones we're trying to phase out, to be completely honest, because it's, this one here has a problem in the introduction. It goes through something that's totally not relevant. And then this one here is the same translation, right? But a cheaper print. So this one's from the UK and this one's from Malaysia. But it's the same, the ta'liqat are almost identical. The translation's almost identical. But for a long time, this was all that we had because it was large text and the translation was there and it's something better than nothing. But alhamdulillah, now we do have a lot more options, which is good. Which is good.
Moving on to the Arabic ones.
Okay.
What do we have?
Everyone asks, what's the best commentary of Arba'in? Now, everyone obviously has their personal preferences and stuff like that. But the best commentary that's regarded by the scholars, generally, I don't think I've heard anyone who's gone against this, is Jam' Ulum al-Hikam.
It's pretty much everyone correct me if I'm wrong, takes from him after him, since his time, rahimahullah.
So it's one of those things that it is something that is it's the umda now. Everyone takes after him. Anyone who does take from him, will always go back to it because it is seen as the best commentary that we have. For this one, obviously, is the Umda in the Bab. This is the best commentary, and he added extra 8 hadith to make it 50, and he's commentated on it. So basically what he's done, Ibn Rajab, is get everything that has been commentated on about the hadith, and he brings it to you, mashallah. So as a text, this is unbelievable. This is really, really good, mashallah. Really, really good.
Now there's many prints of the...
Yeah, definitely.
Which one do you recommend?
Dar al-Jawzi. Dar al-Jawzi.
Once again?
Dar al-Jawzi. This print here it's good. You can't go wrong.
Inshallah, we'll provide links in the on YouTube in the description there from Dar es Salaam. I forgot to mention at the start that Farhan does work at Dar es Salaam bookstore in Lakemba. Currently online and pick up only. Is that right? Pick up for going.
We're doing click and collect. Yeah,
click and collect.
Click and collect, and we do the delivery all over Australia as well right now.
Excellent. So we'll post the links there if you want to have more of a look.
So okay, that's the classical text.
Naam.
Right. So what he's done, he's gathered for you everything that's written on it, and
he added 8, didn't he?
He added 8 also. So that's why it's something that's
made it 50.
He made it 50.
Half a century.
Half.
For those guys that like cricket out there.
It's in my blood, bro. I'm Indian. So this is one of those books that you can't go wrong by going through it. But sometimes, me like going through it now, certain things are a bit repetitive. There is that repetition because he brings you the narrations of the hadith and he brings you, so in that sometimes there becomes repetition. But for a student of knowledge, you can't go wrong with it. This is the book to go through when you're studying Arba'in Nawawi. Then from the contemporary texts, which one is the best from the contemporaries who have written? So when we say contemporary, like people who, in the last 50, 100 years, right? Not even. Like both of these people, in one passed away 22 years ago, another one's still alive. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of our scholars.
Ameen.
So what's the best commentary? Allahu alam. Usually the mashayikh say Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, right? Because it's easy to go through, it's easy to understand. The way that the Sheikh used to write and used to speak about things is very, very easy to go through. And so his commentary is very good, mashallah. So the thing with that is that his commentaries, basically what they were, is that there were lessons, lectures that the Sheikh gave, and now later on they were transcribed and the Sheikh went over, revised, and then published. And some of them now, the recent stuff that is coming out after the Sheikh's died, there are still books that are coming out after the Sheikh has passed away.
He has his mu'assasa.
He has a mu'assasa that's his sons in charge, and they go around, and just recently, like big books, mashallah. But what they do is basically they go through the lessons and they transcribe the lessons and then they publish what the Sheikh rahmatullah alayhi taught. So that's as a book to go through, that's very easy to understand regardless of your Arabic, even if you're in a very basic Arabic level, it's very good to go through. And the benefit is that you can study it online with the Sheikh rahmatullah alayhi on YouTube, because it's like pretty much word for word the same, which is cool, right? So it helps with the reading, helps with the understanding. You can hear the tone and text. You don't get that usually with a book. So it's pretty cool.
So he had ebooks going before ebooks was in. The Shaykh rahimahullah.
Rahmatullah alayhi.
I actually used to do that for Riyadh al-Salihin.
He's got a good Riyadh al-Salihin. We're going to get to it. We've got to do that.
Inshallah. I used to do that. It helped me a lot.
I love his Riyadh al-Salihin. I'm fascinated by it.
Just keep away from the Egyptian print. We're not going to talk about it now.
100%.
We just got salam for brothers in Egypt. Nothing, no offense, brothers. We'll get to you.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect the brothers in Egypt. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all the Muslims, Ya Rab.
Ameen.
My personal favorite from the contemporaries is the Sharh of Sheikh Saleh al-Sheikh. Now, I think that this person is one of the most underrated mashayikh that we have. I think his teaching method and the teaching style and the way that he focuses on certain issues rather than others, his Sharh al-Arba'in and generally his shuruhat of Kitab al-Tawheed, Wasdiyah, Sheikh Saleh al-Sheikh, unbelievable. His commentary, you can't go wrong. And I think that's the last copy that we might have actually even in the store, like it's sold out. But the Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen one you can find always. It's like one of those things that you always have to have. But because not many people know about it, it's very hard to get the other one as well. But Sheikh Saleh al-Sheikh, I personally, I'm teaching the book now. I go through his first, and then I go through Ibn Uthaymeen's, rahmatullah alayh, and then I go through Jam' Ulum al-Hikam. Like I sometimes, if I'm like one of the classes, whatever he had is whatever I gave, because it was just, I don't want to say perfect, but it really hit the nail on the head. Like mashallah, it was perfect. And so I love his eloquence. I love the way he teaches. I love the way he writes. Beautiful, Saleh al-Sheikh. But if you can't get a copy on it, because there are brothers that won't be able to find it because it is very hard to find sometimes, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen's and Jam' Ulum al-Hikam, if you combine the two, you'll be fine, inshallah.
Excellent. Jazakallah khair.
Wa iyyakum.
Okay, moving on. What do we got lined up next? I think we're going to move on to
Surah Thalatha? Should we do the kids one?
I think let's do Usul al-Thalatha, inshallah.
Okay.
The kids at the end.
Okay, so with Usul al-Thalatha, first, what is Usul al-Thalatha? Usul al-Thalatha is the three fundamental principles. It is based on the hadith of Bara ibn Azib, radiyallahu an, as found in Musnad Imam Ahmad. It's a long hadith, and basically it's the ahwal of the qabr of the Muslim, the kafir, it's a long hadith of what are the types of possibilities and scenarios with a person in his grave when he's questioned. And the essence of it is the three questions. What will you be asked in your grave? This is the crux of this religion. That's what this Muhammad al-Wahhab, what he basically did, was that he wrote this risala, and it's one of those rasail that the ulama say that, Shaykh Abdul Razzaq bin Abdul Muhsin Abbad, he said that if you don't have it in your home, it's a naqs. It's something that's a shortage in your thing, because you've not given your family what you're supposed to do. Subhanallah. Because he goes, you have to go through this with your families, you have to go through it with your children. He said that if your child had an exam, wouldn't you go and say, have you revised? Have you done your, have you revised for your test or not? He said that this is the greatest test that we're going to be asked by the angels. So why aren't we going through this with our children and our families and our parents? Because this is the main test that you're here for.
This book is basically about who is Allah, who is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what is Islam.
That's the three questions, the fundamental questions. That this is the essence of your deen, right? So something that's interesting, Ibn Jibreen, rahmatullah alayh, he actually mentions a beautiful, something that's interesting. His Sheikh Muhammad bin Ibrahim, he said that this book was compiled of 3 actual separate books that were combined in one. It wasn't as one book, and this is a big scholar saying it. So he said the introduction is one risala by itself, and then the page before the 3 fundamentals is another risala, and then the 3 fundamentals is a risala by itself.
Just as a background, Usul al-Thalath or Thalath al-Usul has actually got 3 or 4 introductions before he starts. The Sheikh starts the 3 questions, so that was separate.
Yeah. That's what Ibn Jibreen rahmatullah alayhi states, that they're actually three different books, 3 different rasail put together in one book. And I thought that was pretty amazing. What is the best text for the actual matan without a commentary? If you in Arabic? Again, the same 2 as Mutun Talib Ilm of Abdul Muhsin Qasim, Hafidhahullah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, Imam Masjid Nabawi. He's gone through and done the text itself. So that's the best text that you're going to find, inshallah. And it's in the first volume, Mustawa al-Awwal, of the mutun that a student of knowledge should go through. And it just shows that this Mutun Talib Ilm, the mutun for a student of knowledge, and it's in the first volume. Both of these books that we're recommending, subhanAllah. So that's from the of the opinions of the Sheikh, that these are some of the most important things that you're going to have to go through. Then we come to, that's the matan. In English, because of its shortness, it's very short, no one has printed just the text by itself. Allahu A'lam, I haven't seen it. So you're not going to find just the text. You're always going to find it with a commentary. And so we've got over here some in Arabic, some in English. So we'll go through. What do you want to go through first, bro? Talk to me.
Arabic's always better, but I think there's more in Arabic, so we'll start with the English.
Okay. So with the English, there are 2 commentaries that are very, very easy to find now, inshallah.
There's a 3rd one behind you.
There's a 3rd one behind me? There is a 3rd one. There is a 3rd one. This one's probably...
You left it here last week. Yeah, that's the most common one because of its price as well, and it's more available.
Old school. So there are 3. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah feek. This one is probably hardest. The last one is probably going to be the hardest one to find. The first 2 is much more prevalent, especially in the UK and wherever brothers are watching from. So this one here is published by Darus Salam because, so disclaimer, these 2 are the same. Both Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen rahmatullah alayhi. So this is the Darus Salam edition of the commentary of the 3 fundamental principles. So this one here is the commentary of Sheikh Uthaymeen rahmatullah alayhi, as published by Darus Salam, translated by Darus Salam. It's a solid. It's for its price point, it's $18. You can't go wrong. It's solid.
Can I stop you there for a second?
Fadal.
The only difference is the layout.
The layout is massive. This was the first time I've ever read something like this, and I was like confused for about a week. I was like 13 when I was going through it. I was like, what is going on here with the layout of...
Because they start actually with the Arabic text at the start.
Yeah.
And the layout of the pages is a lot
better.
And
the pages is
the
different.
other one is a bit harder to navigate through.
Look, it is, but $18 compared to 30.
But listen, back in the day,
this all you had.
The price was bigger.
Serious?
The price difference was bigger. That was $10 and the other one was $30.
Serious?
Yeah. That's gone up a bit.
Inflation.
That's right. This is a few years ago I'm talking about, so that's to be expected.
So, look, this is the commentary of Sheikh Uthaymeen, and this is also the commentary of Sheikh Uthaymeen. This one's published in the UK.
The translators are the same or different?
No, different. Published in the UK. This is published in Saudi Arabia.
That's Hidayah Publishing, is it?
Al-Hidayah Publishing. So, this is the explanation of 3 fundamental principles. So, this one, as Sheikh Nidal mentioned, that what they do first before anything is they give you the text of the Arabic completely with i'rab. It helps.
Right.
Wallah, it helps.
Especially if you're trying to memorize it.
Exactly. It really does help. So that goes on for maybe 7-8 pages, and then it gives you the complete translation of the text itself, which is really good because khalas, you're here for the text. So you finish the actual book before you start it.
And one thing you like, there is room for writing.
I love it, but the pages doesn't help.
Yeah.
If you write in gel pens, it's a shiny page.
The glossy type paper.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. But then on around 35 pages in, then you start the text. And so how the layout is, and I don't know if we can zoom in, inshallah. One of the brothers will sort that out later. Bi'idhnillah. So basically on the top is you have Sheikh Muhammad al-Wahhab's rahmatullah alayhi's text over here on the top. And then after that, you'll have the actual commentary of Sheikh Uthaymeen at the end underneath the actual page. So that's really يعني it helps. It helps because you got the text there and then you got the complete commentary. Now this was one of the first books that I read, subhanallah, and it took me a while to get used to it because I've never been like that. You never get an English book that's set up like that.
He uses the numbering for.
He uses the numbering, the footnotes and stuff like that. So you actually, and then I think I got to maybe like page 50, and I'm like, oh, so that's how it works. I was 13, but yeah, a bit slower it looks like, but astaghfirullah.
I think you're all right. 13 compared to others.
I understand now, bro. Straight
Some
right
of our kids at 13 aren't even reading.
Straight right off, bro. Straight right off.
Allah
Allah understand. Ameen ya Rab. Hadina ya Rab. But this one here, I think is look, that's what we have to recommend as the best starting point in studying Aqeedah.
Number one.
This is it. This is what all the scholars say. Where do you start? Start off with this text. And then you go into Qawaid al-Arba', the four essential principles. Then you go into Kitab al-Tawheed. And then you go into Nawaqid al-Islam. Right? And Kash al-Shubuhat. So that's the texts, the layout that they usually tell us to go through.
Did we mention that the author of the text is Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah?
Yeah. So the author is Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, and it has different commentaries. And you have, so for instance, this is another commentary of Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan, Hafidahullah tabaraka wa ta'ala.
That's a newer one. That hasn't
This
been
is a
around
newer
long.
one. This is, I think, 2021 even, this print, Allahu Alam. It is very, very, very new, mashallah. 2019, April in 2019.
Is that the same one as the one that has like the wooden door cover?
No.
It's a different one?
No, Allahu Alam. I don't know. Maybe that might be another print from
I think it's for
UK.
Sheikh Salih Fawzan as well.
Usul al-Thalatha or Qawaid al-Arba'a.
I think it's Usul al-Thalatha as well.
Allahu Alam. This is printed by Authentic Statements. And again, those boys in Philadelphia, they're mashallah. Mashallah.
Excellent.
And again, this commentary, straight to the point, no wishy-washy. This is it. Like, you know what I mean? I love it. I love it. It's the best. It is a very good commentary. Sheikh Uthaymeen's one, but surprisingly, is shorter. But I really do think this one's very, very beneficial as well. But this one is a bit pricey. So if someone's strapped, this is something that we got to be honest, right? $18. You can't go wrong.
Strapped meaning tight for money, not strapped holding a weapon.
Yep. Yeah, good disclaimer. Thanks for getting me out of that one. And then if someone is okay with Sheikh Uthaymeen's one and they want a clear, a short description, a short explanation, then this one here is $30 at the moment. If someone watches this in 50 years or something,
Probably be $300 by then.
like this is now the paper is enshrined. Astaghfirullah. So this one is $30. So it's something that is good for its price point, I reckon. And then this one's more expensive. This one is like you're looking in the 40s. Allahu Alam.
Excellent.
So that's the English one. So Sheikh Uthaymeen's one in English is probably one of the easiest ones to go through. Sheikh Fawzan one's very, very good as well.
Being on the scene for a while, it's the most taught one in the colleges.
The Sheikh Uthaymeen one?
For years now.
Yeah, for years. I know one person specifically has taught it to thousands of people. That specific one. Thousands of people in his and so it's something that's been very, very prevalent. MashaAllah. Very, very prevalent. So in Arabic, I've got 3 here. There's obviously many. Sheikh Uthman Khamis says that there's not many people haven't translated, haven't taught this book. So it's like not who's taught it, who hasn't taught it is probably the better question. For again, Sheikh Uthaymeen rahmatullah alayh, you can't go wrong. His commentary is beautiful, straight to the point, and it's the same commentary as the English. This is what's been translated. And the best print of this is the print of the Sheikh. The Sheikh has a mu'assasa called Mu'assasat Ibn Uthaymeen. I think that's what the full name is. Mu'assasat Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen al-Khairiyya. So this is the print of the Sheikh. It's printed in Saudi. It's you can purchase it from the brothers that have studied in Qasim. That's what the Sheikh Unayza. That's where it's at. To get this book for us as a store was one of the hardest things to source because it's only sold in certain places. But this one here, alhamdulillah, it is available at dsbooks.com.au, Thalathat Usul, and this is the main print. Please don't do anything else because, again, this book has been printed thousands of times, right? Many different people. I wonder what edition this is. But just this one here, this is the 11th print of this book.
11th print.
And these guys don't print in small batches, bro. these guys, these are the tens of thousands auris. You know what I mean? MashaAllah. This book especially, this is his edition. Imagine the other Egyptian ones, the Lebanese ones. You can find that everywhere. That, I reckon, is the most important one that you get it from the Sheikh's foundation. My personal favorite, though, again, Sheikh Salih al-Sheikh, can't go wrong. His commentary is, mashallah, tabarakallah, really, really good. And something new that's just come in, Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Qasim, Hafidahullah, Imam Masjid Nabawi, he also has a commentary on it, and it's really nice as well, mashallah. Really, really good. It's, his grandfather was on another echelon of scholars, mashallah. And him himself, scholar in his own right. In Medina, he probably, Allahu Alam, has most, out of at least the Imams of Medina, he's got most of the ijazas to any of the books. Like, subhanAllah, any of the, like, Kutub al-Sitta, from, like, Dawawin of Hadith, even poems. Like, we got our ijaza for, like, Alfiya of As-Suyuti and Al-Iraqi. We got it from him. Like, poems. He's got ijazas in poems, bro. It's unbelievable. So he is not normal, mashallah. So his text over here, it's called the Taysir al-Usul, Sharh Thalathati Usul. That is very, very good as well in the Arabic. So the brothers that are following on, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan. Before we finish, we said here and there we want to review some kids' books that are suitable for our younger generations. What do we have tonight?
Okay, disclaimer, I don't have kids, so I got no clue
I'll
about...
cover for you, inshallah.
Yeah, mashallah alaik.
I'll cover for you.
Whenever someone asks me, like, they'll be like, what do you recommend for a child to read, or what should we help with our kids? I always recommend this book. It's printed in America. It's called Teachings of Our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And basically what it is, it's a collection of ahadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that are in Arabic no longer than 4 words.
Allahu Akbar.
From the Jawami al-Kalim. So it's, some of them are 3 words, some of 3 words, some of them are like, it's very rarely you get something that's a 4-worder, right? But most of them are 2 words in Arabic. And so it gives you the Arabic with the i'rab, with the, like, ar-riya'u shirkun, right? So you know exactly how to say it. And then underneath it, it actually gives you the transliteration. So A-R-R-I-Y-A, ar-riya, shirkun, S-H-R. It gives you the whole thing, right? So the transliteration's there. Then the translation is there. And then where they've got it from, it just says Bayhaqi, for instance. And then it gives you a little commentary there, no longer than a page. Everything is a page long. And so I think that this one here, what it promotes for our children is a connection to the Prophet ﷺ and a hadith of Rasul ﷺ. And this in itself is a miracle of the Prophet ﷺ. Utitu Jawami al-Kalim. The Rasul ﷺ said that I have been given Jawami al-Kalim, which is one of the miracles that Rasul ﷺ was able to say little words or little sentences that had great meanings. And so this is like testament.
Concise, comprehensive speech.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So that's one of the miracles. So you're introducing them to Rasul ﷺ first and foremost. You're introducing them to a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, so wisdoms of the Prophet ﷺ. And then you're exposing them to a very essential Islamic beliefs. Yani this has things on kindness, this has things on adab, this has things on Islam. So it's one of those books that I really think is really, really nice. For adults, I do recommend that. Like, this is one of the first books that I recommend brothers to memorize, because this hadith that's 2 words. Habib, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. So 2-3 words, some of them 4, 5, but it's one of those things that's like afshu salam bainakum. Afshu salam bainakum. Like, so many lessons. Spread the salam. Spread the salam between you. Yani, there are so many. It's not too expensive. It's like $16, but this one here is really good for kids of all ages. If your kids are too young, right? You get it for yourself. Incorporate the hadith, and you just give it to them in a different way.
Excellent.
You know what I mean? It's one of those. It's one of those things that you can benefit from things and present it to your children in a different way, because it is. Look, it's just a page with words on it. There's no pictures, no colors, no nothing. So you might have to animate it for your children if you know that's what they need. But especially for teenagers or even younger, because it's not much. It's not too much to go through. I think this is a beautiful book to start off with for kids. Excellent. And inshallah they benefit from it.
Barakallahu feek. We'll leave the last part of the program before we conclude for some questions. We've got some questions here. Brother Ahmad, he asks, is it possible to request books from Dar es-Salam which aren't available on their website? There are many books in the Hanbali madhab. And it stops there. Okay. I think he's asking, can you request books that aren't available on the website?
Yes and no. Yes and no. يعني
Everything has a price.
not that. Like so basically you can.
Here we go. Sorry, here, I think it finishes there. Sorry. Is it possible to request books from Dar es Salaam which aren't available on their site, such as books specific to a particular madhab?
Yeah, like so. Look, I think our Arabic collection is probably the biggest in Australia. Allahu A'lam. That's something that I think there's over 1,700 plus titles in Arabic that we have, and we just did a mass upload, يعني, of those things there. Subhanallah. So basically, I think that. So that's one thing. So we have a massive collection, but the problem is we have a lot of, like, we have a space issue. We can't store too much. So we can get a few things. So sometimes there are brothers who have ordered. So if it falls in line with our orders, so we order like 3 times a year sometimes. So if you're bothered to wait, we can get it for you. But because of COVID recently, we usually go to the actual book fair in Saudi, and we buy things for people. Sometimes we do our purchases with. Yeah, and if someone wants something, we'll get it on with our orders. You know what I mean?
I went to the book fair in Cairo, Egypt.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. I've seen pictures. It's huge. But the Riyadh one is, bro, it's like football fields.
Bigger
bro.
than the Cairo one?
Football fields, bro. From all over the world. And they separate it from countries. So we don't like really ordering books because they take too long. It's like you're looking at a 6-month wait time, but you must be really bothered for it. And we have all of the main books anywhere. Some books are out of print. You can't get those anymore. Like, for instance, Al-Mughni right now, you can't find a good print that's cheap, that's not too expensive.
Is
$800
everything on the website or not?
Right now, we've been working extremely hard for this. يعني every Arabic book, Allahu A'lam, except maybe say 30, 40 titles, like over 1,700 titles in Arabic, is all online.
So you can search in the search
everything
bar there?
So the trick to the search, I have to do a thing on this. Don't write any Hamza for the Alif.
Because I was searching today anyway.
So it's just write the word out in Arabic or in English transliteration, and you'll find it. If you want to search by the author, you can search by the author. So look, we don't like ordering. I'll be honest, like, it is a bit of a mission, and because يعني, if you do that, you'll just be sourcing out so many things, and we can't just order one copy because we won't get it won't be feasible for us. You can't just get one copy. And if I get 5 copies of it, it's going to stay there for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? So if you come, for instance, a bunch of brothers, they come together, say, oh, we want 5 copies. Tfaddal. Right? Then something that's a bit more serious. You know what I mean? That we can take that seriously. But it's like, oh, can you get this? And some brothers come with like a list of 50 books. And bro, imagine sourcing each one out. Bro, it takes time. It takes so much time. Like making orders, dealing with people overseas is difficult. So yes and no. So it depends on the book. If it's like a really important book that everyone can benefit from, 100%. But if it's very niche and only one person in all of Australia is on the martaba to read it, or like, you know what I mean? It's a tough one. You'll probably have to get that from one of the overseas countries. And my tip to the brothers who are purchasing books, check if we have it first. Save yourself some money. Yeah. Bro, the price difference
Shipping
sometimes is crazy. No, bro, just the book by itself. Like the book, like I remember one of the brothers just sent me a link to like a tafsir. In US dollars was $120. We had it for 115 AUD without shipping. That's like an international book that's coming from Norway, right? It's going to be sent from Norway. That's where I think Sifat al-Safwa, one of the websites that do it. And so you're getting the book more expensive in USD, and then you have to pay like $60-70 on shipping. Unbelievable. So that's one of those things that, see if we have it, to double check.
Is that Sifat al-Safwa for Sabuni?
No, this is a website. A website that
okay.
It's just huge.
I was just going to tell them don't buy it.
Yeah, don't do it either. Yeah, we've got to do that.
That's another story.
We've got to do that.
It's another story. Let's not go there now.
Not
we will
today.
get there, inshallah. Idhnillahi ta'ala. He did pass away recently.
Yeah.
Rahimahullah.
Naam.
So, naam. Ameen. Before we finish,
is there any other questions? I remember last week we had some questions last week.
I've misplaced it. I'll get to that question next week.
We'll get to that question. I remember there was a khair, inshallah. We'll get to it next week.
Inshallah. Any reading tips?
The PDF
tip?
issue.
Yep.
The PDF issue. Remember that was a question that someone said. Should we read PDFs or should we purchase the books? Remember that? That was the question that came up through the week. That one is twofold. What's Islamically correct and what's morally and just general etiquette. So someone has okay, the question that one of the brothers or sisters posted is, if there's a book online as a PDF for free, can I read that instead of purchasing the book? And that's a very big topic, you know what I mean? Some of the mashayikh said that you can't do this because, especially like some of the old mashayikh, rahmatullah alayhim, like I don't want to drop any names because people might think badly of them, but they were like, they used to get really hurt when people used to publish their own books because that was a source of rizq for them. They wouldn't take from anything else. So it's like you're actually harming someone else. You're taking their rights. That's the first issue. So I don't want to get into, is there copyright in Islam? I personally think there isn't, but the person's work and effort might have some right. You know what I mean? Someone's translated something. Someone's put years or days and months, blood, sweat and tears. He's got a family to provide for. So I personally think that, okay, there might not be a copyright in Islam. The hadith in Quran is for free. Everyone knows that. But someone ta'ab ala hada shay, like they really worked hard on it. So I personally think that you have to really look at it very carefully. Like, see, is the book available to purchase aslan? If you can purchase it, purchase it. And what it does help, and this is what I was talking to you about, I think maybe earlier in the week, is that when you do support Muslims and you support the Muslim organizations and the community, you're actually helping promote and producing more things that come out after.
That's my biggest issue and concern is we don't complain about everything else. But when it comes to a book, the book is too expensive. But the PlayStation game for $100 is not expensive.
$69 is a normal game now.
This and that. So everyone according to their budget. But
100%.
And
100%.
we want to keep supporting Muslim businesses, especially if they're doing good work.
And we've seen the detrimental effect of this. Remember when the CDs were coming out from America? People just ripped them, and those businesses went out of anything, and then there's nothing to rip. There's nothing to steal, to nothing to copy. We've seen that with the Quran producers, that they stopped making the CDs and audio, and then the lessons that were coming out of America and stuff. It's from one of the companies. I think
the internet as well.
Really the internet, but like I just want to say, like there are two faults. Okay, whether it's jaiz or not, let's leave that to the side. Okay, I'm saying just common sense that if you want to help the community and putting money back into the community, even if it's as profit, right? Muslim money should be with Muslims.
We always advise the students to buy the book.
Muslims always should be supporting Muslims.
That's what we do.
That's one of those things. When you go to Woolies, bro, wallahi, when you go to Woolies, have you ever seen anyone go into the self-checkout counter and be like, come on, khayyi, like, please, help me out. Put me a $5 discount. It's just $5. You don't see that when you're dealing with the kuffar. Why are you doing it with Muslims? Why do you assume that a Muslim is like, he doesn't need to make any rip on you, like any profit? I'm not saying rip your brothers off. I'm saying help your brothers. And it's ma'qoola to make some money. You know what I mean? But I'm saying help the publishers by purchasing the books. And inshallah, you get ajr if you have the intention that I want to support Muslims so that they help and this helps produce more books. And inshallah, that will be on your scales yawm al-qiyamah.
Barakallah feek. I have one tip, and that is this week or budget pending. Get your children together. If you have some children, go on the dsbooks.com.au site. Over $100, shipping is free. Maybe that's a plug for you there.
But that's I was telling brothers, like, just get together and just order together.
Yeah, and not only that, I'm saying from the kids' perspective, get them excited. Like you get them excited over watching something online or purchasing stuff online. Online shopping. There's a lot of people just doing shopping online now.
Yeah. Do
the same thing. And budget pending. I always say budget pending. Everyone is on a different budget. Some people are struggling. They can't afford to
100%.
get this or get that. But if Allah has blessed you, you have some wealth, get them together and at least monthly allow your child to buy a book and read it and finish it and let him build his own library. This will encourage him or her to read and have that, everyone likes to own, have that, feeling of
their own book, their own
library, their own shelf.
You were saying something about brothers and sisters who can't afford. A good tip for brothers and sisters who want to do sadaqah jariyah. We can ship to a place that isn't your billing address.
That's a good
like
gift.
if you have a brother, you know his address, you know his number, you don't even have to have his email, but you know his number, or you know his address. Send him a book, send the family a gift, send them something. And it's counted as good knowledge that's that's something that's inshallah will follow you to the grave. If they act on any of the knowledge that's there, and it might not be even them, might be their grandchildren, like we said, the book might stay there and someone else might read it once upon a time. Khalas. You get the ajr of your niyyah aslan, that's the first and foremost. But if someone takes on a book and especially a Quran, and then the ajr that you might get, you're in your grave because you gave someone just something as basic as a book. Books, some books that we have like $5, $4, like Fortress of the Muslims, $4. And just imagine one person memorizes one hadith from that. That, for instance, when you're in prayer, the dua is Subhana Rabbi al-A'la when you're in sujood. Imagine one person for the rest of his life takes on that one deed for $4.
You know, sadly as well, like I know it's good as well, but sadly, many in our community, we just do this at the end of our lives. Like it was a common practice that someone would pass away, may Allah have mercy upon them. The family will go buy 100 on their behalf, especially Fortress of a Muslim. Beautiful book there. May Allah have mercy on the author who died a few years ago. Ya Allah yarhamhu. And they would give the book out. Why not do that before?
Yeah.
As well, you know, it's a good initiative to spread beneficial knowledge.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, okay, if you know someone is like they're struggling and you just want to, especially now, like give gifts and increase in the love. That's one of the hadith of Rasulullah sallam. And it's one of those things that we really need it now. There's a lot of people are down,
That's
bro.
a comprehensive hadith there.
A lot of people are down, right? Just put some happiness in the lives of someone else, but not even. I'm not saying just give them a gift, something. But this is something that is a very it's a very smart gift because it's investments, it's not really gifts. Because you're giving someone ajr for yourself. You know what I mean? It's something that's really smart. I love that aspect of giving something that's beneficial to someone. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from everyone. Ya Rabbi.
Ameen. Jazakallahu khairan. Barakallah feek. And I'd like to thank all the brothers and sisters for tuning in. If you'd like to catch up on the past episodes, AlBayan Radio Australia YouTube. Inshallah, we'll post the links for all the books we mentioned tonight. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.